Welcome back to the Plays with Cars YouTube channel and another episode of Project Bronco, YouTube's favorite of our project cars. So, actually, it was our first project car, too, that we actually put on YouTube as a project. When I started this channel reboot off about 10 months ago, the first of the mini projects we introduced was actually the Bronco, because, again, I was intending it to be a quick flip of something, and we could do a whole bunch of content and then sell it and get rid of it. And then we ended up having Snowmageddon and ended up keeping the thing. And then we bought the house and needed a truck to, bring wood and all that kind of household stuff with. Now we're to the point that we own the house. All the major projects that a truck was needed for are kind of done. And it's getting ready to be winter again, which is when this thing is worth the most money. And it's time to, get off a rocker and get this thing going so that we've got some funds back in the kitty to work on the other two projects. Now, that being said, I really like the Bronco. Don't get me wrong. I love this thing. I've always wanted one of my own. I had a ton of fun off-roading it. I just don't use it very much. I've put less than 200 miles on this thing in the year that I've owned it. It has been almost a year. The plates are due at the end of this month, so I need to get going. And because I just don't use it, that's why it kind of needs to get out of here. So the major thing drawing it back for selling is obviously the interior. The driver's seat is completely wasted. Everything is dirty and nasty. Rearview mirror isn't even hooked up. Steering wheel is all coming apart. So we are going to address all of that today up front. The back, actually, is in great shape. We had already done the back seat and gotten it nice. The carpet back there, the spare tire mount with the full-size spare and all that stuff is great. The outside is even fairly good. It needs another wash and wax because, sitting and off-roading and stuff like that. But other than the paint on the hood, the outside is really doing pretty well. So we've got to get the driver's compartment kind of cleaned up, finish off the restoration stuff in there, see what we can do about this, because I haven't gotten around to going to a junkyard for another hood. It's not going to happen. I need to figure something else out and try to make this look a little more presentable, and then we can actually get Project Bronco up on the market and get it gone. Now, again, everyone's going, but it's the one that's got the most likes, the one that's got the most followers, the one that's got the most views. Well, most of that is because I did that video on Doug DeMuro did a review of a Bronco, and I kind of did a rebuttal video with this one, and that video kind of took off, at least for our tiny little channel. I think it's up to about 2,500 views or so at the time of making this video, which is great and all. But those views aren't necessarily translating over into more people really watching the Bronco. And I'm just not enough of a truck guy to really know what to do with this thing beyond make it look presentable and leave it how it is. I don't know trucks. I don't know lift kits. I don't know, winch bumpers and stuff like that. That's other channel content. I do low cars that go fast around corners. This is not low, a car, fast, nor does it like to corner. But again, it has been a super fun project truck. I really did enjoy having it. I'm glad that I've owned one. Would I get another one? Honestly, probably not. It doesn't hold enough people to be worthwhile as an SUV. It doesn't hold enough stuff to be worthwhile as a pickup for me. I kind of need one or the other. So I'm looking at replacing it with a Land Cruiser, because I could use the SUV more than the truck and then have a little trailer, or do a little mini pickup, like an old Toyota little pickup or something like that. We'll see. That's all down the road. But as far as this thing goes, it does both jobs fairly okay. But when you've got more than 4 people or more than a little bit of a load of stuff, it's just not what I'm looking for. So anyways, I'm going to get to work on this thing. I got some ideas what we're going to do inside. I've actually picked up some seat covers for it. So I'm going to install the seat covers. And then obviously I'm going to give everything a good cleaning, and then I've got the old steering wheel wrap off the Cobra is going to go in here to fix the steering wheel. I got some glue stuff for the mirror. We'll glue that back on, and then we'll give the outside a good wash down and see what we can do about that hood and get a little polish on this blue side and make this thing looking shiny and nice again. So that's what I'm going to be working on in this video. So I'm going to get to work, and we'll check in after I get some stuff done. Alright, magically like that, we're all done. I didn't do a time-lapse or anything, because it's kind of, lighting is terrible, and it's kind of hard to figure out what's going on and whatnot, so I decided to just go ahead and clean. Plus, it's cleaning. Nobody really likes to watch cleaning happen, but I put these seat covers on. These are from Costco. They were like, I don't know, 20 bucks or something like that. They're pretty terrible seat covers, but it's still a massive improvement over what was in here. Got the center console cleaned up pretty nice. Had these floor mats that were already in here, but got everything all cleaned up as well as I could. Dashboard, all that. Put the rear view mirror back on, and then did this lovely wrap job on the steering wheel that actually turned out quite well. This wrap has lived on the Cobra for the last 3 years, and that steering wheel is trashed and needs to go anyway, and I have a new one for it, so we'll be putting that one on in a future episode of Project Cobra. So since we don't need the wrap anymore, put the wrap on this. So kind of repurposing some things around, but yeah, I got it looking really pretty dang decent in here. I mean, like I said, it's not perfect, but compared to what it is, I don't think this will scare off buyers anymore, which is what I was getting before. So next I'm going to tackle the hood and see what we can do about getting that to look a bit nicer. Oh, one other thing I did do here in the back, I've got all the plastic pieces that go up in here when you put the top back on. Now I've had the top off on this, and it's super fun to drive these with the top off. So other than like making sure the seat belts were back on and the top was bolted in, I didn't put any of the other trim pieces on because these take longer to take on and off than the actual top does. But I found all the pieces, made sure they were clean, stuck them in here in the back with the spare and everything else so that the next owner could have that at their disposal. So yeah, all good to go there. So yeah, we're going to start working on this hood now. I'll give you a nice little before of what we're working with here, and why she's kind of so ugly looking. So I'm going to see what I can do with this thing. I got some sandpaper and some paint and some ideas, so stay tuned. And check that out. Right as the rain falls, but so I sanded the hood, primed it, painted it white. Found a blue that was a pretty close match to this, and masked and primed and painted all in there. And then on this side, I kind of came up where the primer was showing through here and kind of did a little bit further back. It's not a perfect match, but it's way better looking. And then you can see here in the grill, we masked and painted and did dark gray in the grill to make the grill look way better. So yeah, that's a much better looking front end on this thing, don't you say? Obviously it's not perfect, but it's way better than what it was. So now it's like presentable enough to sell. So yeah, what a time for a rainstorm. Anyways, that's been this episode of Project Bronco on the Plays with Cars YouTube channel. And I guess if you want a Bronco, shoot me a message.